So let's see if I could get off this time and not break it.
Oh, goody. And I got show rights. Thank you, Pam. You're such a sweetheart. Now I can get rid of this. I can get rid of the item. Oh, I wonder. Oh,
Okay. Have
man.
a good day, night, whatever. So, see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
See
Thank
you
you for
later.
hanging out with me and just talking. So,
No problem. Hold on. Pam says, Deb, you need me to come in and cover the last couple hours? She just
uh,
got here, Pam.
well, the thing is after 5 o'clock Eastern time, there's nobody. As far as I know, there's nobody covering.
Oh, jeez.
So whoever, if
Wow.
Pam Big Lee said he would come in too. So I don't know. At this point, it's it's anybody's game. So,
Yep. Yep. All right. Talk to you later.
uh, have a good one. Oh, enjoy your birthday
Bye.
today.
Oh, I will. Dawn's
All
not going to let me not enjoy it.
right.
Good friends.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, everybody. This is On the Wing and a Prayer. Seeing that's what's today. I'm still Wednesday morning or Wednesday evening, but seeing Thursday mornings from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern. So adjust for your time zone, and then Saturday evenings from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So again, adjust for your time zone. And I started recording, so now that I've got recording rights for Zoom, thank you, Pam. I appreciate that. I'm trying to decide. Do I want to? So, what do you think, chat? So, should I go ahead and save the first 30 minutes, or just go from here? All right, where do we go from here? I'll tell you what, I'll do that for now. All right, and in the meantime, I am going to let me start the show off with my show opener. And we shall be right back.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand an evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith with which you will be able to quench all of the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, and willfully so, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Amen.
Thank you, please. Father God, I ask now for an impartation of your Holy Spirit. May the fullness of the Spirit of Jesus rest upon President Trump, that he be anointed with wisdom and understanding.
Oh, sorry. I had my mic muted. I had my mic muted for the whatchamacallit, for the show opener, and I forgot to. I didn't unmute it, and I'm trying to do like three things at once. And I got kicked off of Zoom briefly, so everything shut down, and there's a glitch there too. Let's see. Okay, hey, Jacqueline Oz and Sons of Liberty, Declare, and looks like Big Lee's coming in. So hey, why do these things happen to me? And so I wanted to. I'll have to do my own tomorrow. And so who's in Vaughn? Is there anybody in Vaughn? I can. Yep. Okay. It's lagging. Alright. I wonder if this is part of the shutdown. I wonder if this is part of the 10 days of darkness. What do you think? We got the glitches going on. And So, aw, they stole Pug. Vaughn, you stole Pug. All right. All right. Hey, Big Lee, how are you?
Aloha, Deb.
Hey.
Aloha, PSP chat. So I will what I'll do is I'll relieve you an hour early.
That sounds good.
And like how many hours are you on tonight?
I'm usually on 3, but with you it'd be
How
2.
many hours?
That's I'm usually
Okay.
on
And then
3.
the slot lasts.
Usually let's see. I think the next let's see, 5 to 7, right? And then I think someone else comes on.
So
I
that would be
That would
3
be what?
hours
Yeah.
needs cover. All
I
right. I'll
think so.
happily do that. But I mean, Pam needs his rest, so I'll cover him.
All right.
But I mean,
I'm trying to think right now because last few uh Poe had been stepping in, and
uh,
last few weeks I just like I have to go get my sleep because I gotta go get my grandson in 3 hours, and it's just and it's gonna be different when
I understand.
it's gonna be different when I go to the Central Time Zone. So we're gonna it'll work out. It'll
So
be.
you looking forward to that, huh? Getting out of California?
Yes and no.
That
I'm
big,
very
that going to
torn.
be a good move for you?
I think it will. I
Um,
hope it will. I mean, I mean, yeah, there's some opportunities here because I went and bought a cheap little video recorder, and I'm gonna try to do the farmland here. The way they're doing the farming right now, it's totally different than they did
mhm.
since we've been here. I mean, ever since that ice raid at the pot farm in July, the farming. I mean, you're actually
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
farming tractors. John Deere tractors. Actually, people are actually
Huh.
tilling the land, and I don't know all of the. I don't know all the plants that are growing. They're growing, but I don't know if it's all strawberries or what. But because like Ocean Mist is around here, and Arbor. Let's see, Arbor. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know if you know the name Arbor Pacific. I think that's another farmland, and it's different.
Now,
Go ahead.
I was a pot farmer in Northern California for longer than I should admit. Let's just say since 1981 as a kid. Um, things have totally changed as far as agriculture since then.
Well, it's like I
And then I'm
mentioned.
not just talking about pot farming. I'm talking about agriculture in general.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know if they still have the pot farms because there's something growing out there that's green and leafy, but everything else is not. It's just different. And I mean, you actually see rows of plants. I mean, literally rows of plants. Before it was just like it was a
Hmm.
field of something, but this is actually neat rows.
Are,
Go ahead.
huh. Are you in Ventura County?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Shit, Ventura County took the number one spot for being the most producing the most sheer tonnage of pot away from Northern California because of these industrial farms like the one that got raided.
Hmm.
Huge money in it. Well, at least to big people.
So
And if it,
is there a delay here that because I know we're talking over each other,
yeah, there could be latency. I'm noticing it.
or are you or can you even hear me? Can you hear me? Is it low?
I I can hear you 5 by 5.
Okay, just checking.
You're coming through just fine.
Oh, okay. Um,
It might be your connection that's got a bunch of latency that's just making it seem strange for you.
of course it would be. So what's new on your end?
Um so I was on a new X Spaces for oh, ruh-roh. Um yeah, there is some sort of delay. I heard you repeat yourself. Um I was on an X Spaces of local Hawaii that we were talking about the controversy of the election commission hearings and how they they're just doing it so dirty that it would just make you furious if you heard the shit I heard tonight, which is nothing new. I'm sure is happening across most of the Dem blue states where they don't play by the rules. And if you try to get them to play by the rules, then even they change the rules to play by the rules. It's just disgusting.
Well, you ought to see the commercials that they got going about the propaganda they have on Prop 50 here in California about the gerrymandering. And I mean, when you find out, I mean, one actually says that, oh gosh, I need to find those, see if I can find them online, because one of them says, oh, that President Trump, oh, it's something about abortion, that, oh, he doesn't want abortion or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. But you got the
Well,
teachers union and the nurses are pushing this propaganda about voting for say yes to Prop 50. No, say no to Prop 50.
I mean, it's business as usual in California. I was part of the political process and helping to start a new party in California. And man, as soon as we had one bit of success, we got one person elected to a county board, the shit came out of the woodwork and the Dem party went to war with us and they crushed it immediately.
Mm.
And so I know what you're talking about. I mean, California is basically run by just three primary entities, one of them being the teachers union, the other being the prison guard union, and then you could name any one of others as being runner up. The prison union has been the one that was the primary power because they donated so much money. I mean, they were the ones behind Three Strikes You're Out that just like stuffed all the jails to the absolute hilt to the point where they had to start letting go like hardened criminals just because they didn't have any space for people and they had to build new prisons and it was just started private prisons. It was pretty gnarly back in the day, and I'm sure it's no different now. And sadly, those those unions have the reins of CalPERS, the California Public Employee Union, which has hundreds of billions of dollars in all of the hedge funds. So they can push their agenda on a national and global basis. I mean, they get what they want or they pull their money. So, the whole DEI and BlackRock, a lot of that pressure came straight out of California employers, CalPERS union or employee um what is that retirement fund is what it is. So, yeah, California is a sad state, that's for sure.
Well, you talk about, you mentioned retirement fund. You know that the county, Ventura County. I work for Ventura County with the school, and they they don't let you opt out on the IRA. You are not
Wow.
allowed. Yeah, I mean, you. I even tried to put
That's
0% of my paycheck going to my IRA, and they just nope, didn't work because it's like,
that's that's how they maintain that power. My mom was a professor for the University of California, and so she had to be enrolled in all that, state employee retirement fund stuff. Um, yeah, CalPERS is just this insane monster that is pretty much like the mob, where they won't let you out once you jump in. They won't let you out with your money.
yeah.
Won't let you send your money anywhere else. They get to choose how they spend it. So,
Well, I've got it all in. I've just kept it in cash. I didn't even put it in kind of stocks. I just put it leave it stay in
so
cash. The money market.
are you aware that there was just some sort of high court ruling that allowed teachers to not have to it was either pay dues or pay into the union retirement funds, that the teachers could opt out and get their blanket insurance coverage through other people. It was a pretty heavy duty ruling.
Mm. No, I didn't
Um,
know
I don't know if
that.
that affects you or not, but
No, not really.
and I don't have a link to share with you.
No, but there's
I'll
something
be
else.
right.
Go ahead. Mm. Okay, since okay, I guess Lee is gonna stick around and he's muted. So I wanted to, since today, October 1st, started Yom Kippur, for the last week was the, I guess you call them, Jewish New Year, and I wanted to start with I wanted to talk about Yom Kippur, and for those.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, hey, Big Lee, you're back. What? Okay.
Was Well, I had to go grab lozenges and some cold water. So,
Oh, gotcha. Are you coming down with something?
no, I've just been talking from 9 o'clock this morning until pretty much just an hour ago.
Uh, oh boy, love those long days, right? There
Mm.
was something I was going to bring up. Something now I can't remember what I was going to bring up. But
Yom Kippur.
no, let's see. No, well, since I have conversation, I try to do. If I'm by myself, I try to do like a Bible reading or something. But since I have people to talk to, since you're sticking around and helping me out and talking to me, we can talk.
Well, I can. I mean, sure, I'll hang out for another half hour, and then I want to take a break so that my voice
Okay,
isn't trash for the next 3 hours when I take over for you.
okay, sounds good.
So,
Oh, I know what
speaking
it.
of which,
Hmm.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to ask you. You notice with everything going on, people have kind of forgotten about the Mormon, the guy that ran his car in the Mormon church, and then there was the other shooting, and now there's like, so have they switched tactics as far as their army? Because before it was Antifa, then BLM, then you got the trans, doing all the rioting. Now it is. Uh, Veterans, we know how
All right.
the veterans have been, a lot of these veterans that they come back from these wars, they're having to go to get uh, help, psychological help, and they've probably been put on some sort of, um, I mean, if you want to,
SSRIs.
yeah, or if you want to call it medication, whatever you want to call it, you think that they have switched tactics to get their different leg of their army out there? What do you think on that?
It's possible. I mean, any human is capable of snapping with the right amount of pressure applied to them. It might have been something personal about that church, but what I do know was the Dems went all the influencers went all in on him being MAGA, including photoshopping shit on his T-shirt, which um, the Anons caught really quick and then changed the narrative. Like, hey, look at what you guys are doing, and then the whole narrative disappeared. So they tried something and then got clapped back on so hard they just like, oh, let's change the subject. So
Hmm.
the in chat you're seeing this reports of the Delta jets collide. This is not a tragedy. This was two planes that ran into each other on the tarmac taxiway, minor damage with the wings. Unfortunately, people are being clickbaiters and throw out the big headline, and then later you learn that it was just um, wings touched, which is still a collision, but it is not a crash, folks. It's not a tragedy.
It's not as if they were up in the air and collided and yeah. Oh, gosh, I wonder what the next big dead headline's going to be with the shutdown and what they're going to try to distract us from. So there's so many.
Well, I mean, they started right in with these two jet collisions, and there was post after post after post of people, oh well, Trump just laid off the air controllers. There's the staffing of the air controllers. This is Trump's shutdown. That was the first narrative they tried to hammer in there before even they had learned. And then, as I was watching the actual report, that it was just two planes that were so close in proximity where they were parked at the gates. When one backed up, it ran into the other. So it's
Uh,
not air controllers. It's not I mean, they jumped immediately with this whole narrative that it was all entirely because of Trump's shutdown and lack of air controllers getting paid. It was sickening, actually.
well, climate change is, according to them, climate change is Trump's fault too. I mean, he can't. This guy, poor thing. I
Well,
mean, no. I mean, he's a big boy. He can handle it. But it's like, come on. Not everything is Trump's fault. I mean, I know that's like with this whole
but
shutdown. It's it's on Trump. He's the one that it's his shutdown. He made this comment. I don't know. I don't even read the comment, but some comment back in 2013 that he said, it's on the president if there's a government shutdown or something like that. And the whole thing is, you know, the Republicans run the Senate and the House is their shutdown. It's like you don't know how it works, do you? They had a continue. They it's the Democrat. They're playing by the Democrats' own rules instead of a simple majority, which they would have if they would follow the real rules. The simple majority, it would have been passed, but because of was it whatever they voted for, uh, they have to have 60 votes, and it's because the Democrats are
so
holding
Deb,
out. Hmm.
so one of the concessions the Dems offered up was, oh, well, we would vote for a Senate rule change to lower the threshold down to 51. And the Republicans were like, you can just fucking eat pound sand. Sorry for my language, but pretty much like, oh, yeah, yeah. You're going to shut down the government, create this controversy, and you want to change the Senate rules to mob rules with just one vote? Uh-uh. So it is on them. It was five Democrat senators, and indeed Paul always voting. I don't know why he's in a job that has um, appropriations responsibilities when all he's ever going to do is vote no on spending money. I mean, that's unrealistic, right? But he voted no. But the total was five Democrats shut the government down, and
Yeah.
some of them, I think most of them, had voted for this very thing months ago,
Yeah.
right? When they were arguing through the big beautiful bill, there was a stopgap measure thing that like, well, we have to do something in September, but really it's going to be run through the appropriations committee in November. And uh Speaker Johnson was like, bless him, he went into all the snakes dens earlier and yesterday to carefully derail all the narratives they tried to put at him as far as being anything but their fault. So they have no leverage.
Mm-hmm.
The big beautiful bill took away by already authorizing a huge block of funding, the really core essential stuff, so
Yeah.
that they don't have leverage. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was that I saw earlier that, I mean, within hours, President Trump was able to, I think it was some pet project. It was one of their pet projects was completely shut down because,
I, I
and I,
can
and
I
I
can
can't
remind you.
remember what it was. And I think it was like $80 million they were able to shut down. Is it?
So the first announcement that came out of the office of the OMB, Russ Vought, was the freeze of 18 billion,
Was it 18 billion?
18, 18 billion for New York City infrastructure programs. And they claimed that because this is DEI, we feel that we can freeze this. And then the next one that was announced that I'm aware of, there may be others. The next one was Green New Scam. That was 8 billion. That is going to affect multiple states because really what the Dems did before Trump got into office was pass all these appropriations stuff to A, set them up with all this pork, and B, hamstring him in his first 2 years of his, with the hopes that they might, because of hamstringing him and being ineffective, they could then grab the House in the midterms. So, but the big, beautiful bill circumvented all that shit they had done. So it's like it is going to be rock and roll, and he's slowly taking out all the chess pieces, the backdoor funding pork that they've been using to fund campaign after campaign after campaign. So the midterms are just going to be a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to, I mean, the world is going to find out how poor and broke that party really is or has been all along without taxpayer subsidies um, from dark money. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Newsom try to run a campaign without any money. You know, well, I
well,
mean,
that's what they're really crying about, Deb. California spent over $8 billion of their Medicare fund they get from the federal government on just the illegals alone.
oh, I know. Oh,
California is absolutely screwed if there's no more reappropriation of money coming in. Oh man,
oh yeah, I know.
they're going to want Gruesom's head.
Well, there's already people wanting Gruesom's head, but you still have these.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that they're all bots. I think most of the things you see on social media, most of the comments are all bots. They're all bot
You're
farms.
absolutely right.
I'm like, we need to get. I mean, one of the things I like to see next to the media going down is the bot farms going away. Get rid of the bot farms, and you'd find out you get the real pulse of the people, because this it's so. I mean, and some of them are so obvious. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm actually seeing a couple of them have.
Well,
They're not popping up as quickly or as much. It's like even on PSB, I'm like, it's amazing to me what words will trigger someone to come on. It's
uh-huh.
almost comical to watch, because I
We
used
had
to.
that earlier today. Bunch of new follows of names that are like clearly just bot names.
Hmm.
Bunch of them joined. Well, the thing about bots on social media platforms is when those platforms sell their ads, those are based on quote user engagements. And it's like in their financial interest to not really clean out the bullshit unless their advertisers revolt and say you're allowing for click fraud. What I've noticed on X since Elon took over is that when I spot a bot account or commenting, I'll go check its profile. And these are accounts that go back to like 2012, 2012, 2013, but then have nothing for years. Like you look at their comment thing, but now they're all locked into the moment with their bot messaging.
Hmm.
So whatever happened to like old old accounts, which you would normally trust as somebody who's been there all along and might be real, have been co-opted. I don't know if it's officially sanctioned, if it was what was done, but when you see ones that go back 2012 and uh, I mean, I report them personally because it's just I mean, it's fraud.
Yeah. Well, that's like on.
And you're wasting,
Go ahead.
sorry, you're
No.
wasting your time responding to those people in any way. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's disingenuous. It's not true real engagement.
Yeah. I just usually use the laughing emoji on some of them, because it's like, uh, you're lying through your teeth. So So instead of commenting, and sometimes I just want to tell the people that are commenting, is like, stop commenting. They're getting paid. The more you comment, they're either paid or,
Absolutely.
and it's like, because they engage you. They keep throwing out the hook. You still, excuse me. You take the bait, and they keep it going, because the more they keep you going, the more. I mean, I shut one person. I shut one down, and I kept seeing the same person coming up, and that person has almost gone away. I was like, I've had even some of them say, actually admit to getting paid.
So I made them, I mean, yeah, I had like 4 or 5 DM conversations of people that just randomly showed up and it's the usual pretty face and she's, talk like wants to engage. And so I'm like, oh, this is just a bot. I'll just be lewd. I, I didn't ask for this person to talk to me. And unfortunately, I came across a real person
Ooh,
and she was less than happy with in fact you're an asshole kind came up and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a bot.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
but
occasionally,
even bots could be trained to respond that way.
yeah.
So,
Well,
I still don't know.
have you seen this new thing about this AI actress? Did you see that?
Um, I may or may not. You have something to share?
I don't have it. I saw that. I figured
Okay.
somebody would. I figured somebody would. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. But I figured somebody would talk about it, because I thought, oh, this is. I mean, I look at some of these things and I'm like, really? And it's like, is it even worth the time to even go over? Because, and of
Well,
course,
it is
and
kind of important because there's this thing is going on where stars, people who made a name for their face and their acting, are now being offered these buyouts for their likeness and their voice impression, uh, for in perpetuity, where AI will then just assume them as an actor and they can license to use them in anything. And
Yeah.
there, unfortunately, there are stars that were, 60s, 70s, 80s, made a name for themselves, but the money's not coming in anymore. So, but in the future, watch out for these productions where you're just like, it'll be very, I'm sure the people will clap back against it, but
Oh yeah,
we have to wait and see.
there's already some bad ones.
And the
It's kind
same
of
with music. There are artists that are basically going to be you're going to see come out again with a new album, but it's not them.
yeah,
It's all AI
yeah.
and
And
license their name and likeness, voice, their catalogs, their song catalogs.
well, here it is. AI generated actress Tilly Norwood sparks Hollywood backlash. Tilly Norwood is the creation of an AI production studio.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't read it, but it's just so you got some of the Hollywood's biggest stars in the union that represents them are speaking out against the creation of an AI generated actress. I thought that was what the whole was it last year, year before the whole strike, Hollywood strike was all about. So, following reports that she will soon by sign, I mean she's going to be signed by a talent agency, or it is going to be signed by a talent agency. So the AI generated actress named Tilly Norwood is the creation of, oh man, I can't even pronounce that, but it's a United Kingdom based AI production studio.
Did you?
Vandervelden.
Yeah, I mean,
That name doesn't
I
even
don't know
sound.
if it's quality content and worth watching, like it's got good writing. I mean, what's the difference, really? I mean, I'm being crass about it, but that's all I care about is production and writing, and whether or not the person can put that into something that's worth watching. Because I think I have. Oh, here, let me share this next, Deb.
Uh,
This basically this brings your point home like only a real lot or a real thing demonstration can um demonstrate.
well, this is funny because I mean I'm sorry, but let's see. So So this person, that's person, Eileen or Eileen, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Vandervelden sounds like a fake name too. Uh, so she claimed in a September 27 panel at the Zurich summit. So Zurich, when you think of Zurich, what do you think of that? Not because that's Germany, right? But Emily
Switzerland.
Blunt. Emily Blunt says it's terrifying, which I don't like the idea of AI anything myself either.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So whether you like him or not, Dilly, I mean, most people don't like him because of his profanity, but he made a very poignant or a very good point the other day in that, oh, sorry, I gotta scratch my head, my earphones. Um, they're getting to the point where it's just the fakery is going to turn people off, right?
yeah.
But they're Hollywood has not put or generate Hollywood as we know it has, and this is what he put out there. Hollywood hasn't made any new stars. They've been gatekeep. We haven't had new fresh stars or really any real fresh content. They're just in the remake um shithole. I mean, I'm sorry to be vulgar, but they're just because they already licensed and own the content, then they find somebody else to remake it, reimagine it, as they like to say, thinking it's something new. But I mean, how many new Hollywood stars have made it to, you know, to fame and popularity? We're stuck with these same people that they've been pitching us for decades now. I mean, I know that is part of the talent agencies, right? They management and lawyers, they lock those people up in their shitty contracts when they made them a star, and they don't want to have to renegotiate on today's dollars with new talent. So they just keep rehashing the old talent. But let me share this with you, and it is it's not a surprise to everybody, but it sure is uh,
Well, why
going to
you?
be chilling. Going to be chilling moving forward. So I don't care who the account is. They're just basically reposting anyway. So it is officially game over. Juan Animate, which is fully open source, is definitely SOTA. These are acronyms that AI people use. The fidelity of the image is like nothing I have seen so far. The Relight Laura, these are just the tools they use to do these AI um, uh, portrayals. Does a phenomenal job as well with enhancing environmental lighting and integration. What's missing? So I'll
Friends, listen, what you're seeing right now is crazy.
We are crossing a line in human history where the boundary between reality and fiction is vanishing.
And this is not a Hollywood billion-dollar high production studio. This is open source. This is from your computer, a click of a button, and most people will not be able to even tell the difference now. So be safe out there, question what you see, verify what you believe, and follow who wants to stay ahead of the curve. This is Syria. Friends, listen, what you're seeing right now.
So Pam was highlighting this with these, I think it was Korean videos where he knew that it was a dude, but they were using these AI substitutions to be like this, frankly, like too young to have any interest in woman to be trolling online to get guy. So they, you can, but these are now tools that anybody can use. This doesn't take a multi-million dollar um, production studio and millions of dollars. These tools are in the hands of somebody that's got a computer with enough hardware specs to run this stuff. So
So
it's a whole new world.
Is this supposed to be Taylor Swift? Because that's who she reminds me of.
Yeah, basically. He just picked an image out, which looks to be a stock image. The AI replicated her image and likeness, her mannerisms, her voice, and he just, I'll start it again.
Is crazy. We are crossing a line in human history where the boundary between reality and fiction is vanishing.
And this is not a Hollywood billion-dollar.
So I think somewhere along the line, a very serious bill, which they will all scream censorship, but there needs to be an upfront watermark on anything that's AI generated that wants to portray. I mean, if they want to make anime an obvious cartoon, that's fine. People will see it as that. Everybody should notice the way Hakeem flipped out about it's an AI deep fake of me in a sombrero, and everybody's like, that's news. But they kept hammering that AI deepfake stuff, which I've always thought that they are going to use, like if our full D class comes, where we might actually see, bigwigs, like they're not going to show the face of anything or even, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like Epstein tapes. They're just going to claim that it's AI deep fakes.
Right. But
It's not real. Nope, didn't do
yeah.
that.
Well,
So,
I was screaming about the AI stuff 2 years ago because I was trying when we moved here in California. I was trying to find some sort of income that I could do from home because I did not want to have to go out and work. I wanted to work from home. And the way that they were going to pay you to record your voice or to just go out and take pictures, and there's something about it just said that didn't strike well with me because it's like I don't want you to have my voice. Of course I'm recording my voice now, but still, I mean, you could use my voice, to incite something, and I have no recourse. I have nothing to prove that I didn't do it because they are
right.
going to fake they can take my voice and do whatever they want to. And then, or put it on somebody else's face. I didn't want to be part of that. So I don't like the whole AI concept at all. So I just,
Well, I mean, it all comes down into the user agreement terms of service or performance contract, and mechanical rights is essentially what you were talking about. I mean, you could wind up signing yourself away for some 7-year contract where you can't do anything else that would compete with that. They have a lock on you, and some people, they just don't read that shit
yeah.
before they click through it and think, oh, this is going to make me money. Always read the the language,
Well,
or have a lawyer read for you if you're going to enter into a contract.
I think people, just desperate for money, and so
Yeah.
they'll do whatever, and they don't want to read it. But that, yeah, wouldn't it be a kick in the pants if we find out that Hakeem Jeffries isn't even a real person?
Hmm.
Y-
That would
So,
be,
you know, some of these
well,
people that aren't, maybe not even real people that, it just, it's like, what is it going to take for people to really see what's going on instead of, flipping the script and saying that we're the crazy ones, right? I'm just like, there's got to be
yeah.
more people that get it than not. I know there's going to be a certain percentage that will keep towing the line and towing the narrative because they just have no critical thinking skills. It's like, when did school stop teaching critical thinking? I know, you know, it just,
It all depends on the school district. If they're in any of the what they would become the true blue commie states, they started 60s. So,
well, that's like you saying about the remakes. They
yeah.
do that all the time. I mean, they've been doing that from when the movie industry started back in the late 20s, early 30s. Is they've been um, the studios. And what people don't understand. Let's see, I can't remember what day it was. People were talking about, and I don't remember if it was the tavern. You don't say, or if it was you talking about Hollywood, but
Mm,
Hollywood,
I have a I
Hollywood
have a
is.
limited, sorry.
I was just going to say Hollywood is literally moving their studios to Texas. There's like three. I mean, small towns too. Small towns, college towns. They're moving their studios. There's at least two or three that have popped up around the Austin area, and it's just and I'm like, oh my gosh, I spent nearly all my life wanting to get into Hollywood, and not knowing, and to
Right.
find out, and then here I am in California. I thought, man, and then to find out it's all moving back to Texas. It's like, that's the
Well, there,
irony, right?
yeah. I rail on Hollywood for a couple of specific reasons. My grandmother's family once controlled the largest group of movie theater ownership in Southern California, the Rogers family. But eventually, because it was a family and it became, people passed and it was diluted. Like up until the 50s, my grandmother's family like controlled the theaters of Southern California. I mean, I'm not shitting you. I mean, my father and his younger sister, um, my same grandmother from the Rogers, she was so locked into Hollywood, she figured out that she could take them to the Burbank studios where all the television production was, and she could just drop her kids off, and they would be in effect um, audience. Like my father and his sister were original Mouseketeers. If you remember the old black and white with the
Mm-hmm.
kids sitting on the bleachers,
Yeah.
well, the two of them is my father and my aunt Susie.
Nice.
Because
Wait a
they would mind them all day, and they would get fed lunch. It was free. It was free. It was free.
was she,
How could I?
was she one of the ones? Because I think now I don't know. Maybe it's false memory, but it seems like I remember read. It seems like I remember. When they did reruns, and I think was there a Susie that was actually shown on TV? I mean, was she
No,
announced? Was she part of the
no, no,
intro?
no,
No.
no. She was. They were just kids. They were just kids. Daycare. Thank you, P. Dizzle. I can't believe I forgot that word. No, they were just the extras, and it wasn't just the Mickey Mouse Club. It was
Oh.
all the daytime television shows. It was a family thing back in that day of the Burbank production studios, even parts of Hollywood. It wasn't this, I mean, it was a fairly tight group of people who lived in the area are the ones that were the studio audience.
Mhm.
And eventually some of them would make it to be, um, uh, actor non-speaking roles, extras. My great grandfather was a Keystone Cop. He was 6'6". So when you put him in a 2 foot tall black hat, he looked awful oafy for the original no um no audio Keystone Cop movies. He did that for years. But now it's all gone to shit. California costs too much money to do production in with all the other areas that are providing subsidies, like Georgia, New Mexico, Canada. Um, they uh, Hollywood cannot compete with that because California won't give them any concessions. It's just they won't. I mean, they're just wasting so much money. So
You
I'm
mean
going to take off for half an hour
okay?
to prep some content, and I will be in at 10 o'clock sharp.
Okay.
Or if you want to run longer, you just
Oh, I
let.
mean,
I'll be.
go ahead.
If you want to run on longer, after 10 up until even 11, you just give a shout out. I'll be listening. But
Okay.
I need to like hit the bathroom and
All
prep for
right.
the
I
next
hear
3 hours.
you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
aloha.
whenever you come in, uh, anyway, I'll tell you what. I'll keep until you decide. Whenever you feel like coming in. I'm just like, eh.
Oh, I'm sorry to jump off like this, but I gotta take care of a few things if I'm gonna cover for 3 hours first.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Go do what you
Okay.
need to do. Okay, everybody. So now that we're back, and I want to talk about Yom Kippur because, as you know, I do a Bible study, but in this day and age, and the fighting that's going on, what we're seeing is, basically we're seeing the we're seeing Bible coming to life, actually. This is the results of what we're seeing are the results from, like I mentioned earlier, Abraham and Sarah getting ahead of God's plan and inviting a intruder into their home, into their lives um, to fulfill God's promise. And this is what I mean, and we could do the same thing individually. It's not just what's happening, but why do we have Yom Kippur? How does Jesus fulfill Yom Kippur? So I went to, if you go back, I personally think we should go back to the Hebrew calendar just because it was part of God's plan from the very beginning, and that's me. So anyway, so we find how does the Day of Atonement, and of course in the Old Testament, when God first set up Yom Kippur or Day of Atonement, it was when the Israelites came out of Egypt, and Moses led them, and God, had the festivals, the different sacrifices, the different types of offerings, but we're going to stick with the Day of Atonement. And so, because in the Hebrew or the Jewish calendar, sundown or the day began at sundown. So sundown of October 1st started the Day of Atonement. And this is really a time to be repentful, asking God for forgiveness. And so chapter 16 out of Leviticus says, Now Jehovah spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered profane fire before Jehovah and died. And Jehovah said to Moses, Tell Aaron, your brother, not to come at just any time into the holy place inside the veil before the mercy seat, which is on the ark, lest he die, for I will appear in the cloud above the mercy seat. So God is telling them, hey, don't come in, remember God cannot look upon sin, and it's very important. You gotta, that's the reason why we have to be repentful. We ask for forgiveness. We have Jesus to be our ultimate high priest. Remember, the high priest is through the line of Aaron. Moses was a Levite, Aaron was a Levite, but the high priest was through the line of Aaron, and they were the ones that did the sacrifices. So verse 3, Thus Aaron shall come into the holy place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as a burnt offering. He shall put the holy linen tunic and the linen trousers on his body. He shall be girded with a linen sash, and with the linen turban he shall be attired. These are holy garments. Therefore he shall wash his body in water, put them on. And he shall take from the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats as a sin offering, and 1 ram as a burnt offering. Aaron shall offer the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. So the high priest, before he could even enter the holy place, he had to make atonement for himself. He had to offer the bull for him and for his house. But we go on, we're going to see it's not just for him, it's for the whole nation. Verse 7, he shall take the 2 goats and present them before Jehovah at the door of the tabernacle of meetings. Then Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, one lot for Jehovah and the other for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat on which the Lord's lot fell and offer it as a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell will be the scapegoat, and shall be presented alive before Jehovah to make atonement upon it, and to let it go as the scapegoat into the wilderness. And that's where you got God's mercy and his grace. Verse 11, and Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bull as the sin offering, which is for himself. Then he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from the altar before Jehovah, with the hands full of sweet incense beaten fine, and bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Jehovah, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat that is on the testimony, lest he die. He shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the mercy seat on the east side, and before the mercy seat he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people. So here we go. This is where the people, it's, in somewhere it says that when they, commit an unintentional sin, which was, nowadays we could think about, gossip. Gossip is a sin. Let's see, where did I lose? 15. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, bring its blood inside the veil, to do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the mercy seat before the mercy seat. So he shall make atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, because of their transgressions for all their sins. And so he shall do for the tabernacle a meeting which remains among them in the midst of their uncleanness. There shall be no man in the tabernacle of meeting when he goes in to make atonement in the holy place, until he comes out, that he may make atonement for himself, for his household, and for all the assembly of Israel. And he shall go out to the altar that is before the Lord, and make atonement for it, and shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat, and put it on the horns of the altar all around. Then he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his fingers 7 times, cleanse it, and consecrate it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he has made an end of atoning for the holy place, the tabernacle of meeting, and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, confess over all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions concerning all their sins, putting them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a suitable man. The goat shall bear on itself all their iniquities to an uninhabited land, and he shall release the goat in the wilderness. Then Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of meeting, shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his body with water in a holy place, but on his garments come out and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people. The fat of the sin offering he shall burn on the altar. He who released the goat as the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and afterward he may come into the camp. The bull for the sin offering. The bull for the sin offering, verse 27. The bull for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall be carried outside the camp. and they shall burn into fire their skins, their flesh, and their offal. That means their intestines and their bodily fluid, functions and stuff. Verse 28, then he who burns them shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and afterward he may come into the camp. So here you go. If you remember, one of the things that the Israelites couldn't do, they were not supposed to touch a dead body, and that meant even the animals. So because of this, there was a special concession. Verse 29, this shall be a statute forever for you. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, whether a native of your own country or a stranger who dwells among you. For on that day the priest shall make atonement for you to cleanse you, and you may be clean from all your sins before Jehovah. It is the Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls. It is a statute forever. And the priest who is anointed and consecrated to minister as priest in his father's place shall make atonement and put on the linen clothes, the holy garments. And then he shall make atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make atonement for the tabernacle of meeting and for the altar. And he shall make atonement for the priest and for all the people of the assembly. This shall be an everlasting statute for you, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as Jehovah commanded Moses. So I'm going to go to a couple of others. So then we come to Leviticus 23. Uh-oh. Alright. Trying to type this stuff in the dark. Okay, so then we come to, all right, come on. Okay. So some more. So in Leviticus 23, 26, starting with 26, and Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, also the 10th day of this 7th month shall be the day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation for you. You shall afflict your souls, offering an offering made by fire to Jehovah, and you shall do no work on that same day, for it is the day of atonement, to make atonement for you before Jehovah your Elohim, for any person who's not afflicted in soul. And I don't think it means like afflicted. It means kind of doing a search and repent. If you've ever been in a recovery, in a 12-step program, a recovery program, it's the 8th step. Yeah, 8th step is taking an inventory. I've forgotten the steps now. But there's a step that you take an inventory. Basically, you kind of write down things, people you've harmed, people you may have committed, harm, whether it's talking behind their back or whatever. Just someone you've harmed with your actions, maybe, basically looking inward and ask God to reveal the sin. What have you been doing? What do you need to be repentful for? I'm sure people take this to mean something totally different, but I'm reading this as taking that inventory and just looking inside. For any person who is not afflicted in soul on that same day shall be cut off from his people, and any person who does work on that same day, that person I will destroy from among his people. I mean, this was pretty serious. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls. On the 9th day of the month, that evening, from evening to evening, you shall celebrate your Sabbath. And then we come to Numbers. And see, and the point of this is we don't do this anymore. We don't, we have a, because we have a, because we have an advocate through Jesus, and he took that punishment. So we don't have to do that anymore. I mean, we still, we still need to, we should, we don't need to do anything. Nobody needs to do anything. But if you want to live a life close to God, take that inventory, be willing to repent, be willing to ask for forgiveness, not just from God, but from the person you may have harmed. Sometimes what the offenses we do is not maybe not against another person as much, but as against God. So 7 says on the Numbers 29:7 says, on the 10th day of this month, 7th month, you shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall afflict your souls. You shall not do any work. You shall present a burnt offering to Jehovah as a sweet aroma, 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs in their first year. But be sure they are without blemish. Their grain offering shall be of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 kid of the goat shall, as a sin offering, besides the sin offering for atonement, their regular burnt offering with its grain offering. And then, so you're like, well, what does this have to do with anything? Well, how does Jesus, we're going to, 7. Acts 27:9. I want to read part of 27. Can't always, you don't always get the whole meaning unless you read the context. So, and when it, yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, that one. Oh, you scared me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't see I jumped in the room earlier?
No, I did
Well,
not.
well, you should actually read that out, Deb, because what I have queued up for you is ties into what I was just reading on screen about the bad sailing and um
Acts.
I'm not sure of the specific. I just was reading and it said about the voyage and bad sailing and
Okay.
it's
Okay. Acts 27, and this is one of the journeys Paul was doing on one of his missionary journeys. So it says, and when it was decided that we should sail to Italy, they delivered Paul and some other prisoners to one named Julius, a centurion from the Augustan regiment. So entering a ship of Adramyttium, we put to sea, meaning to sail. And this is, of course, Acts was written by the disciple, or the from Luke, who also wrote the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke. So we put to sea, meaning to sail along the coast of Asia. Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, was with us. And the next day we landed at Sidon, and Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him liberty to go to his friends and receive care. When we had put to sea from there, we sailed under the shelter of Cyprus because the winds were contrary. And when we had sailed over the sea, which is off Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia, where there the centurion found an Alexandrian ship sailing to Italy, and he put us on board. When we had sailed slowly many days and arrived with difficulty off Cnidus, the wind not permitting us to proceed, we sailed under the shelter of Crete off Solomon. Passing it with difficulty, we came to a place called Fair Havens, near the Sea of Lycia. Now, this is where they were taken. This is where Grot took me. Now, when much time had been spent, sailing was now dangerous because the fast was already over. Paul advised them, saying, "Men, I perceive that this voyage will end with disaster and much loss, not only of the cargo of a ship, but also our lives." Nevertheless, the centurion was more persuaded by the helmsman and the owner of the ship than the things spoken by Paul. And because the harbor was not suitable to winter in, the majority advised to set sail from there also. If by any means they could reach Phoenix, a harbor or Crete opening toward the southwest and northwest, and winter there. Should I keep going, or is there something else?
Well, you got pretty much the gist of it. It was like they were having a hard time of it. They were told not to do it. They continued anyway. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while I was prepping for clips, I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but you are aware that there was this flotilla of people headed for Gaza. The first one, of course, they'd gotten boarded, and basically everything was interrupted. So they started a new one with more ships, and I'm talking about Greta Poopy Pants. Well, may I grab the share?
Sure.
Okay. Because, and I asked, is this technically Yom Kippur right now?
Yes. Yes. We until sundown. Sundown. Yes. Yom Kippur.
Okay.
Yom Kippur started sundown on October 1st, so we are now October the 2nd. That's what the Hebrew calendar is. The days start at sundown. So.
Okay. So technically, this is like the Jewish's most holy of holy week, like,
Yeah.
bigger.
Because. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just asking because if I remember right, there are certain days when in a certain period of time that devout religious Jews don't do anything. Like I notice people work as it pertains to the Sabbath, refers that takes any focus off God and spiritual rest. Well, it turns out that the flotilla that was currently happening with Greta Poopy Pants and all the other trust fund babies that have nothing better to do but then get on, boats that somebody else paid for and a fruitless mission to Gaza. Well, the Israelis boarded him just a few hours ago. And I have what was the live stream. If but I thought it was like it was interesting. You're reading this thing about this this sailing effort that is just kind of doomed, and it was all relating to what I had on screen in front of me.
Mm,
So I could cover this for a few minutes,
sure.
unless it's an interruption to you. If you want
Well,
to finish or
well, I mean, you can do that, and I can go back to Hebrews 9 because that's going to tie Jesus into what Yom Kippur. According to
well,
Grok,
maybe
that's supposed to do that. So,
okay, I don't want to interrupt you then. I don't. We can watch this at any time in the next few hours. I just thought it was like you're bringing this up and it's on screen as I'm watching. I had to scroll back because it's not live now, but please continue.
oh,
I'll stop share.
how long is it? Do you know?
It's potentially a couple hours of video of them getting boarded.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, because
I have it.
okay, go ahead. I was just going to say that, and I'll say it over and over again, nothing is new under the sun, and we see things from the Bible perspective. We see things happening, and it's not an accident that it happened like today, or
Well, indeed, indeed. That's why I was questioning. Like, so on these during this holy observance, the Israeli Navy is going to create this quote shit storm in the sea. Um, I just thought that would seem like odd timing, but apparently they have, they're playing by their rules. So, but please
well,
continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
well
thought it
that
was like it was almost biblical
well, it's
in the
that's what.
correlation between the two.
Hmm. Well, and let's see. What was that? Oh, yeah, they've got their calendar. The Hebrews got their calendar, or God's got His calendar. And people who want to come against Israel, I do not deny that there's not corruption in Israel. I mean, corruption has permeated the whole globe. Okay, but be
It's a
careful.
human it's a human fallacy that no one is immune from.
Well, the thing is the corruption has been from the beginning of time. All you have to do is look at the Bible and see the corruption and this idea that, I mean, God set aside the Jewish people, the Israelites, the child of promises through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You can't do a broad stroke. Uh, brush them all in broad strokes. So when you're, the promises through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and for people who don't think that Israel is a place, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, plenty of nations, plenty of towns are named after the founder. Okay, and not only that, when you gotta get my thoughts together here, but God told each generation. He told Abraham, He told Isaac, and He told Jacob, this is what I was going to do. This is what I was going to do with your people. This is, you are going to be. And then you know, jump ahead, jump about 300 or 400 years, and you got King David. And it was through the line of King David that we get Jesus, the Messiah. And, from the tribe of Judah, who's an Israelite. So if you're going to attack Israel, and that's one of those things that when you start talking about that triggers bots to come in and start. But just because you got, I
Yes,
think it's,
absolutely.
you got Psalm says we pray for the peace of Jerusalem because that was the capital of Judah after King David, and the Israelite nation was split into two different kingdoms. So it's important to differentiate the two. And I mean, you start looking at some of these people that are coming out, you could see the vitriol. I'm not going to name names, but I mean, just watch some of these people.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. There's
Well, there's
some
more than
stalwarts.
one. It's
Oh, no,
it's
there's
not.
been stalwarts of support one way or the other for years now.
But
What I
I'm.
see,
Go
what I
ahead.
see happening is that there is a concerted effort on both sides to rehash or in effect another crusades. Does that seem to jibe with you with what you're seeing going on with this conflict? That there's like they're bringing it to a head between the Christians and the Muslim invaders, who then the Christians become the invaders once the Muslims have conquested, and it's played out time and time and time again. Of one force comes in and removes the other, and I see that there are zealots on both sides that want to play that game again. And sadly, it doesn't need to be that way.
The problem is it really does. It goes back to Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, and the conflict is basically two families fighting. It's like having a divorce. The family conflict, and you've got people on one side, people on the other, and you're butting heads. But it goes beyond that in the sense that because Ishmael technically is the firstborn son, but he's not the son of promise. So, he's basically fighting in the way he's fighting for his right to be the first, get the firstborn rights. Just like if you look at the story of Esau and Jacob. Jacob, basically Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. I mean, and you go back to Jacob's messed up family with the first four sons, and because Judah was the fourth son, but because of the actions of Reuben did not get the privilege of having the firstborn right. He did not have the privilege because he did what God said was a sin. He went and had sex with his basically his stepmother. His Jacob's. It was Rachel's maidservant, which became a surrogate for Rachel. I mean, humankind is just so messed up, and this is the reason why we need. God gave us a savior in the form of in Jesus Christ. But it's the blueprint, if you will, the paradigm, the blueprint. If you listen to Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, is that this is the same conflict that has permeated generations. And if you listen to Mark Driscoll, it's a demonic spirit. Basically they invited, Abraham and Sarah invited this. You have the what God sets up. Booger face has a counterfeit, and that's it's basically goes back to good versus evil, God versus booger face. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And
Right. The paradigm of dark and light, the yin
exactly,
and the yang. It just there's a common theme along the lines.
yeah,
The mirror, the mirror.
yeah. So it. I mean, I look at things for the most part. I try to look at things with my spiritual eyes and what's the driving force behind it. And I mean, you bring up a good point about the Crusades, um, but I look kind of beyond what the natural is, what we see with our eyes, and I try to look, okay, what's the driving force? Because good versus evil has been around since Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, when they disobeyed God and they listened to the serpent, to the twisting serpent, the lying serpent, and they disobeyed God. And so, man, in some ways, I'll be glad when, I don't know, I'll be glad when God just reveals himself. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to come out. And I just want God, I want Jesus to be glorified in all things. And I just,
Well said.
that's where I come from in a lot of this. So this is out of Hebrews 9, and it's referring to Jesus. Hebrews 9, then indeed, even the first covenant had ordinances of divine service in the earthly sanctuary. For a tabernacle was prepared, the first part in which was the lampstand, the table, and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary, and behind the second veil, the part of the tabernacle which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid on all sides with gold, in which were the golden pot that had the manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant. And above it were the cherubim of glory overshadowing the mercy seat. Of these things we cannot now speak in detail. And I want to point out here, it's not, they had also kept the staff, the scepter that had the bronze snake on it, that when the Israelites were complaining and got that they were afflicted with the sickness, and Moses used the scepter to, they licked on it and they were healed, which is kind of a weird story in itself. But the whole point is eventually what the people did is they started using that. That became an idol to them. That became a false god to them. And I just read it, I believe it was King Hezekiah actually broke it because of their idolatry. So you can find that in Second Kings. So it's important.
Well, it's still used today, is it not? In the symbolism of medicine.
Symbolism of medicine, yep. And even, I mean, Boogerface has hijacked a lot of it. What God's created. Let's see. So, verse 6, now when these things had been thus prepared, the priest always went into the first part of the tabernacle performing the services, but into the second part, the high priest went alone once a year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the people's sins committed in ignorance. I mean, there are things that we just don't think of it, but in verse 8, the Holy Spirit indicating this. So here we have the Holy Spirit, that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest while the first tabernacle was still standing. So what it's referring to is the fact that you had to have that physical representation of the tabernacle, the real thing. But Jesus, in fulfilling the law of the sacrifice, the holiest of the Day of Atonement, he became that tabernacle. I hope that makes sense. It was symbolic for the present time, which both gifts and sacrifices were offered, which cannot make him who performed the service perfect in regard to the conscience. So the priests, no matter how much they tried to sanctify themselves, they cleansed themselves, they were never going to be perfect in God's standards. So that's the reason why we needed Jesus to shed his blood, to be that ultimate sacrifice, that animal sacrifice. Verse 10, concerned only with foods and drinks, various washings, and freshly ordinances imposed until the time of Reformation. But here we go. Here's where it all ties together. Verse 11, but Christ came as a high priest of the good things to come, with the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is, not of this creation, not with the blood of goats and calves, but with his own blood he entered the most holy place of all, having obtained eternal redemption. For if the blood of bulls and goats and the ashes of a heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifies for the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, cleanse for your conscience from dead works to serve the living God? And for this reason he is the mediator of the new covenant by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions under the first covenant, that those who are called may receive the promise of the eternal inheritance. Verse 16, for there is a testimony. There must also of necessity be the death of the testator, for the testament, or for a testament, is in force after men are dead, since it has no power at all, while the testator, that seems weird either way, therefore, our testator lives. Verse 18, therefore not even the first covenant was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and goats with water, scarlet wool, and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book itself and all the people, saying that this is the blood of the covenant which God has commanded you. Then likewise he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and the vessels of the ministry, and according to the law almost all things are purified with blood, and without shedding of blood there is no remission. Verse 23, therefore it was necessary that the copies of the things in heaven should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Christ has not entered the holy places made with hands, which are copies of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. Not that he should offer himself often, as the high priest enters the holy place every year with blood of another. Verse 26, he then would have had to suffer often since the foundation of the world. But now once at the end of the ages he has appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And as it is appointed for men to die once, but after the judgment, so Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. To those who eagerly wait for him, he will appear a second time, apart from sin, for salvation. So there you have it, folks. And this is the reason why I think, now this is just, again, it's my personal opinion. Now, I mean, if we're sanctified by grace in Christ, I don't understand why we should not recognize Yom Kippur or the Day of Atonement. But that's me. I mean, we have Christ. He is our high priest. I mean, that's the reason why we don't have to do the sacrifices anymore. Ricky Bash, the use of Hebrew term Yom Kippur by Christians is a modern phenomenon and is generally limited to certain groups. Well, I think part of that is because remember that the corruption is infiltrated everywhere. If some of these teachings, the spiritual leaders have been misled, they're going to mislead. I find it, personally for me, I find it really disturbing in a sense that we've been lied to. Our spiritual advisors, instead of teaching the whole Bible and explaining the background. This is one reason why I like Mark Driscoll out of Arizona. And I mean, he really, he breaks down the Old Testament. He's done Judges, he's done Hebrews, he's done, I mean, I know Hebrews is New Testament, but he's done Genesis. And he takes what's going on in the Old Testament with Hebrews, and he applies what's happening today. He talks about the demonic spirit of the Jezebel spirit, the demonic spirit of the Ahab spirit. He talks about that, and I like him. I mean, he has done some things I kind of was disappointed in him about. I think he,
He's
but
human.
yeah, but I think for the most part, I find what he says very compelling, and when you apply what's happened in the Old Testament, and then you can see it through what's happening today. Even, I mean, I don't get to listen to Jonathan Cahn very much, but I know when his book, The Paradigm, came out, I was like, oh my gosh, and the spirits follow us. Those spirits, the demonic. It's kind of like the generational curses. Because we learn from our parents. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other day I was asked to say a prayer for Kath, and I'm like, I can't. It's not because I can't say one. I can't put those thoughts together. It's that, and this is purely my spiritual journey, and that having been saved so many times from, frankly, should be dead situations, that I came to the point of acceptance that I ask nothing of God. I just follow what is presented to me and stay on the path. I don't deviate. I don't know the plan for me personally. I find I just cannot ask anything of him. I am accepting of what grace I've been given in the past and in perhaps the future. So I have an interesting disconnect. I rationalize it. It works for me. Some it may not. So
well, uh, everybody's definitely has to find God in their own way. That's kind of what the First Amendment is all about. Is that
well,
doesn't necessarily
oh, absolutely.
mean it doesn't necessarily mean we let these pagan. I mean, the whole thing about the Bible, or even Romans 13, is civil. I mean, Paul and Silas had civil discourse. Peter, because they came in and said, "You're not to speak about this man Jesus anymore," and they're saying, "So sorry,
Right.
gotta do it. He's my Lord
Well,
and Savior."
oddly enough, some spirit has been installed in me, and yeah, my first name is Gabriel. Um, an absolute to the very soul, to rail against any false prophets, and that includes people who claim to be religious in the sense that people, like preachers, anyone. There's something that stirs my soul with great anger when I come across people who are leading people astray, when it just is like, um, it just it truly bugs me when I come across those people, and I go to action many times. It could have something to do with like my family history and stuff like that, but my my great uncle concrete company built Long Beach, California, poured the sidewalks, the freeways, Anaheim. I mean, did made a fortune. And he was a deacon in his church. He was absolutely devout, and he gave the pastor, I guess you would call it, of the church, $600,000 in the mid 60s. It was a serious chunk of change, and that guy disappeared with it.
Wow.
And the family has had issues with organized religion ever since.
Yeah, well, I
So,
could say that. I mean, that's a that that
and
that.
I mentioned that I had an issue with a priest that was trying to groom me until my father recognized when I started complaining about it, about and got to the point where he was trying to touch me. He was doing the classic isolation, separate one from the group for discipline. Every excuse to get me alone or having to, nobody to believe what I had to say type things. And when he heard me complaining about what this guy, a Catholic priest, no less, who was the host of the Boy Scouts, which I wanted to be an Eagle Scout. He went down there and it got real ugly. So again, another reinforcing thing about those that are just will